Antlers tells the story of a teacher who becomes invested in one of her mysterious students, only to uncover the haunting truth about him and his family. So I was really looking forward to Antlers. Scott Cooper is more than a capable director, and Guillermo del Toro attaching his name to this was a great sign for me. After watching, I can honestly say Antlers was a pretty impressive film for the most part. I think the setting of rural Oregon is showcased in a great way. Cooper's direction and cinematography create this atmosphere that pulls you in because of how beautiful the location is, but also because it makes for some really eerie set pieces. The sound design complements this as well. There are scenes where characters are walking in the woods and you can hear the crunch of the leaves or sticks when characters are walking around. And I really felt like I was a part of the environment due to how great this sound design and imagery is. Despite how beautiful the filmmaking is here, it's really the story that stands out for me. I've heard some criticisms about the movie, like how could this teacher become this invested in her student, and I can honestly say I disagree with this, because I got invested too, shit. Right from the beginning, the film does a great job of making you feel a certain way about Lucas and his situation. And the most impressive part is, it does this without really saying a whole lot. The movie tells an important story through its images, and some of them are downright harrowing. And it's to the point where there is dialogue, it's pretty shattering. The performances have a lot to do with this, as everyone is pretty great here. But it's Keri, Russel, and Jeremy T. Thomas that lead the way, however, because they're both damn stellar in this movie. The themes within the story, images, and performances all made this a tense atmosphere. This was one of the most heartbreaking films I've seen in a while, if I'm being honest, because there is a lot of drama. With this being said, there is still horror in the movie, and the two genres do blend nicely in my opinion. There are some creepy moments followed by some pretty grotesque killings. The practical and CG effects used were done well, making the revealing creature pretty cool to look at. Now, I think one of the biggest downsides to Antlers will be its marketing for some. The trailer sets it up as where you might be expecting this bloodbath fright fest, and this sadly isn't that. It's definitely a more artsy horror film and is a bit slow at times. I think the film focuses more on the story and its setup than it does the traditional horror moments. However, my biggest gripe with this film may be its ending, or I should say the last 20 minutes or so. I feel like the film was tense throughout the entire movie, but towards the climax, things did begin to feel a little bit underwhelming. Characters do things that don't make a ton of sense, like repeat decisions that essentially lead to the same outcome and think purely off of emotions while abandoning all logic. And the ending sequence did feel kind of generic for how non-generic this film really is. Overall, I think Antlers is a great film. I was really impressed with the filmmaking and the acting, but largely it was the story that caught me off guard by how good it was. I didn't mind the slow burn because it's effective in making you care about the characters. Some may think the film isn't scary, but I think it's scary in multiple ways. The supernatural side and the reality of certain themes in the film. I do, however, think more traditional horror fans should temper their expectations slightly. But for me, Antlers was a solid outing, and I give it an 8.3 out of 10. So for those of you who have seen Antlers, I would really like to know what you thought about this one, because so far I've heard some pretty mixed reviews about it. For me, however, I really enjoyed it. I thought the storytelling was really good, and it just goes to show that horror doesn't always have to be a slasher or something like this. It could be something that might in fact be a little bit close to home for a lot of us, because the themes in this movie might be a little bit triggering in that sense, but I also think they're important to talk about. However, leave your boy a comment Down low, let me know what you guys thought about this one. As always, feel free to like and subscribe. That would really help me out a lot, and I will catch you on the next one.